But he had his own sparring partner that he knocked out every day. He had people come in there and he knock them out. Then he's like, I hit the guy with my hardest shot, but he didn't go nowhere. I may wipe my feet off like I slipped. This is the reason why I realized all the things that he could do, because he did it so well.
Evander Holyfield recently broke his silence on training Jake Paul for the upcoming bout against Mike Tyson, offering his unique perspective as one of the few fighters who stood toe-to-toe with Tyson in the ring. In his first public comments, Holyfield expressed his initial impressions of Paul's training, his advice for taking on a legend like Tyson, and what he believes Jake needs to do to stand a chance against Iron Mike.
There's more. Yeah, there's more.
You didn't fall, I must have had to have. Like that, so, you know, I was like,
the hardest shot.
The whole thing is another game. Another game.
Jake, if you ever miss, wipe your feet off. Let's go.
All you gotta do, you wipe it, do like this, and everybody's going.
He must have slipped.
He slept.
Holyfield, a former heavyweight champion and one of Tyson's most prominent rivals, expressed cautious optimism about Paul's chances. He acknowledged Paul's dedication and hunger to learn. Having spent time guiding Paul through various defensive maneuvers and mental strategies, Holyfield appears impressed with Paul's discipline and willingness to adapt. Holyfield didn't mince words about the dangers Jake Paul faces in the ring with Tyson. He made it clear that Tyson's power is no joke, even at his current age. Given Tyson's infamous punching power, Holyfield emphasized the need for Jake to focus on movement and defense, training him to avoid getting hit by Tyson's brutal uppercuts and hooks. Holyfield has always been known for his mental resilience, and he's been working with Paul to instill a similar mindset. According to Holyfield, fighting Tyson requires both physical and mental toughness. Holyfield believes that if Jake stays focused and doesn't allow Tyson's aggressive style to overwhelm him, he can maintain his strategy and avoid dangerous situations.
So you got to make it to it, because you know what? I'm looking to jab. So if I be jabbing, you're going to try to hit me.
Holyfield shared that he's helped Jake develop routines and mental exercises to stay focused and calm under pressure, hoping to prepare him for the intensity Tyson brings. As part of their training, Holyfield has been working with Paul to improve his stamina and endurance. With Tyson's quick bursts of energy, Holyfield believes it's crucial for Jake to be able to withstand and keep up with Tyson's pace. He's put Paul through a rigorous conditioning program to ensure he can stay on his feet, even if the fight goes into later rounds. Holyfield didn't sugarcoat the realities of this fight. He recognizes that while Jake Paul has potential, the challenge ahead is immense. Fans have been buzzing about Holyfield's role in Paul's preparation, with many seeing it as a testament to how seriously Paul is taking the fight. Some fans believe that if Holyfield's experience and expertise can help Paul survive Tyson's punches, he might just pull off a respectable showing, even if a victory remains unlikely.
That's all it is. That's the whole game. That's the whole
Like
game.
that.
It's just like,
Must have.
it's a mind thing where you're looking at a person and say, you don't go to me. And I ain't gonna show no expression to let you know that you are not. Like this.
Meanwhile, Tyson has issued a chilling warning to Jake Paul ahead of their upcoming showdown. Paul will face Tyson in a professional bout, not just a friendly exhibition with official judges at ringside and the real possibility of a knockout. Despite being 58 and dealing with health and mobility challenges, Tyson remains a formidable force, though many believe he's past his prime.
I'm always in handcuffs, so I'm very careful when that guy comes out.
You break out in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh man.
Every time I drink, getting ready to get in a fight, I break out in handcuffs. I break out in handcuffs. Hey, listen, and all it's unfortunately I have to fight and be that guy. I wish I could stop that guy. That guy haunts me. That's I wish I could stop that guy. I wish I could stop that guy. I wish that guy died, but he's here to stay.
On the other hand, the 27-year-old Paul is in peak physical condition, making for an intriguing clash of eras and abilities. Opinions remain split on the matter. Francis Ngannou, a former UFC champion and close friend of Tyson, has cautioned Paul that overlooking Tyson's power might result in a devastating knockout. Paul, however, brushed off the warning with a bold tweet of defiance. Jake Paul said, "Francis Ngannou told me to my face that Mike Tyson is going to knock me out. Let's see, big man, let's see. You got your own problems ahead." Francis Ngannou, who has dedicated the last year to training alongside Tyson, is confident that Tyson's skill level far surpasses anything Jake Paul can bring to the table. During a media day ahead of his return to the PFL, where he'll face Renan Ferreira, Ngannou shared his candid forecast for the matchup with Bloody Elbow. Ngannou said when asked for his thoughts on the bout, "I think Tyson will still beat his ass up. He's definitely not as he was when he was young, but when he moves around you and shows you something, you're like, what the hell is this?" That's something that people don't understand about Mike Tyson. He moves from your left to your right in the blink of an eye. Ngannou and Paul have touched down in Washington, D.C., ready to reveal the highly awaited Battle of the Giants, scheduled for October 19th. All eyes were on the celebrity boxer during yesterday's spectacular launch event. In a thrilling confrontation, the reigning MMA heavyweight champion squared off against the formidable 6 feet 8 inches Renan Ferreira. Social media was flooded with jokes about Paul seemingly squaring off against two giant rivals of the same weight class, even though he looked tiny in several clips and photos. Paul played along, joking that he would have made a hasty retreat if the duo had started getting rough. Ngannou noted, "Jake Paul is not in our weight class. We barely noticed that he was there, other than the moment I walked in and shook his hand. But face to face to each other, when I looked into his eyes when I was looking up, I did not see Jake Paul at all. He wasn't in my line." Amidst the storm of criticism, Paul remains unwavering, eager to face a boxing legend. Instead of being discouraged, he thrives on the dismissive predictions from prominent figures like Ngannou and Randy Couture. "I thrive on it," Paul remarked, embracing Ngannou's harsh prediction for his upcoming bout, which will mark his 4th fight in just 11 months. He added, "It's not going to be an easy fight. I think the first 4 rounds are going to be very difficult for me. And if I can weather the storm of Mike Tyson, the baddest man, hardest puncher on the planet, then I believe I can pull ahead in the later rounds and be able to stop him, actually. But Francis is not wrong. I oftentimes get scared of like that one punch, and I have to be alert the whole time." Meanwhile, Iron Mike has not stepped into a legitimate ring for over 2 decades. With his only recent bout being a 2020 exhibition, Tyson has even been seen in a wheelchair at times. Considering these factors, Paul appears to have the upper hand as the match approaches. Tyson, one of the sport's all-time legends, still carries his reputation for immense power and a notable size advantage over Paul. Ngannou is confident these attributes will pave the way for Tyson to knock out the former Disney star. Paul, however, shrugged off Ngannou's warning in a tweet, slyly sending a message of his own to the Predator. In the same breath, he hinted at Ngannou's next challenge, Renan Problema Ferreira, who is set to face him in October. At the same time, Boxing Kingdom has uncovered a harsh message from Tyson directed at Paul. They tweeted, "Mike Tyson with a scary warning to Jake Paul. Mike has recently noticed that his second personality, Iron Mike, has returned." Mike said, "I'm always careful when that guy comes out. Every time I drink or get ready to fight and Iron Mike returns, I break out in handcuffs. Unfortunately, I have to fight and be that guy. I wish I could stop that guy. That guy haunts me. I wish I could stop that guy. I wish that guy died, but he's here again." In contrast, Tyson made an appearance on the Impulsive YouTube show, hosted by Logan Paul, the older brother of Jake Paul. During their conversation, Logan candidly expressed his anxiety about the potential matchup between Tyson and his younger brother, offering advice to the legendary baddest man on the planet with a sense of sincere concern. Logan confessed to being genuinely worried for Tyson's safety, emphasizing that his primary concern was Mike's well-being. He urged Tyson to approach Jake with the gravity that the situation warranted. Tyson made it clear how much respect he had for Jake, stressing that while some might write him off, he never would. With 58 years of life behind him, Tyson reflected on how anyone has the capacity to be dangerous, a realization that has led him to approach people with a heightened sense of wariness.
I love you, Mike.
Same.
And I'm very nervous for you.
Thank you for caring.
I do care. I care about you. And I care about my brother. And I know the path he's on right now. And it's ruthless, Mike.
I agree. It's pretty cool.
It's cool. It's so cool to watch, and he's really crushing it. And I just feel like I want you to be okay in there, Mike.
He wrapped up with a down-to-earth perspective on the upcoming fight. 2 fighters would step into the ring. One would claim victory, and in time, they could meet again before returning to their separate worlds, each heading to their own path and routine. In the interview, Tyson revealed that his relatively short time in boxing is what sets him apart from Jake Paul's past opponents. He acknowledged Jake as a formidable opponent, emphasizing that this was simply his personal perspective.
And I want you got to take him serious, Mike, because
I take him extremely serious. I take him extremely serious. These people don't take him serious.
No, they don't, and it's such a mistake because he's a real killer, Mike. Like, he wanted to be a Navy SEAL before he started boxing. Like in high school, he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. He wanted to go kill people on behalf of his country,
What you're saying is a lot to ask.
Tyson welcomed anyone who doubted his age or abilities to confront him directly. He pointed out the stark difference between himself and Jake's previous rivals, emphasizing that while they showed no fear or uncertainty, he stepped into the ring with a blend of apprehension and fear, qualities he felt distinguished him from the others.
Hey, I'm fearful. I'm fearful of my 13-year-old son. And this is what I learned through my 58 years of experience. What my experience is, that anyone's capable of killing you. In my life and the way I lived my life and what I've seen, anyone's capable of killing you, so you should be apprehensive for anyone. That's just my life that I live. Everyone around me, anybody I know is capable of killing you. Even if I don't know you, that's how I look at people. They're all capable of killing you. So I look at them at that, and I my objectives like that. So they're capable of killing me. I don't sleep on them. I'm not overconfident with anybody in life.
The former heavyweight champion, once hailed as the planet's most intimidating figure, might be risking it all by stepping back into the ring. But when asked on Sunday about his decision to take on Jake Paul, his response was immediate and unwavering. "Because I can. Who else can do it but me? Who else is he going to fight to make this happen?" Tyson said, motioning toward the crowd at a packed press conference where fans cheered the former heavyweight champion and booed Paul. He added, "We've just got to listen to the facts. We've got a YouTuber fighting the greatest fighter that ever lived." Tyson said he felt good and had resumed exercising 2 or 3 weeks earlier. "Hey, listen, I'm just ready," Tyson said. Paul exchanged blows with the combatant on the other side of the platform as well as the hecklers. Paul said, "Hey, New York, you're just like Mike Tyson. You were good 20 years ago." Tyson's prime is undeniably behind him, and Paul is aware that beating a former champion past his best won't earn him widespread admiration. However, the ex-Disney Channel star, with unshakable confidence in his destiny to become a boxing champion, still finds considerable value in stepping into the ring with Tyson, even at this stage of his career. When Tyson was forced to withdraw, a fierce competitor stepped in, Mike Perry, the bare-knuckle fighting champion. Perry entered the ring on July 20th, facing off in an intense battle that saw him defeated in the 6th round. Like many before him, Perry hails from a mixed martial arts background rather than traditional boxing. Despite the loss, he's now focused on securing a rematch, having originally targeted a showdown with Tyson. Paul said to Tyson, "I was ready before. You needed a little break. Your tummy still hurts?" The highly anticipated showdown, set to air on Netflix, is poised to deliver an official match featuring 8 action-packed 2-minute rounds and heavier gloves than typical. However, the real spirit of boxing might just emerge in the event leading up to it.
He is, Mike.
That's how I look at him.
And he's getting like better and better. It's crazy.
I know this. I know that's why I got to get him before he gets too good.
You're right.
Yeah, that's true.
You're totally right.
Paul is eager to showcase his boxing aspirations, while Tyson is poised to prove he still possesses the powerful skills he was once known for. Although health challenges have tested him, he remains confident that they won't hinder his performance. Tyson said, "I had a small adversity. I got sick, but I'm better. I feel good." In contrast, Carl Froch believes Tyson is not being sincere in the run-up to his fight with Jake Paul. Nonetheless, Froch has insisted that the fight between Tyson and Paul isn't meant to be taking place. Mike Tyson, I think he is just playing his role. In my opinion, Mike Tyson has probably got the script, because when I saw that press conference, there was a half-hearted shove. Jake Paul stood there, stern-looking, and didn't even say anything, so to me it all just looked contrived and fake. At 58, he still shares training videos that showcase the incredible strength he wielded in his prime. Although he strives to prove his lasting capabilities, a great deal of resistance surrounds his return to the ring, his first fight since stepping away from the sport in 2005. Froch said, "I just think it is a shame that Tyson is getting in the ring with this idiot fake Paul. It is just a clown world. It shouldn't be happening. I don't like it, but I hope Tyson can go in there and not get hurt and make a few quid. Instead of causing more harm by pulling someone deeper into the conflict, it's clear that the damage has already been done." The objective here isn't to dwell on Mike Tyson's past struggles, but to mitigate their effects and keep him centered and ready for the challenges ahead on fight night. This approach mirrors the way reality show contestants were once manipulated by false narratives to secure their involvement. Much like a nursing home resident whose caregivers maintain their fantasies, Tyson's self-image is constantly nurtured, not as a retired boxer, but as an unstoppable powerhouse. At 58, he is continually encouraged to believe he still dominates the ring with the same ferocity and dominance as in his prime. Likewise, Jake Paul, whose existence often seems like an ongoing reality TV show, is destined to fall into the same illusion. He'll eventually regard himself as a dominant figure in the boxing arena, believing in his own skill despite his limited training and a pattern of facing opponents with little to no boxing background. Jake Paul's boxing career has often seemed like an elaborate illusion, supported by a chorus of sycophants, echoing his every wish and driven by the pursuit of fame. The imminent showdown between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson has stirred intense anticipation in the combat sports arena. This highly anticipated, officially sanctioned bout is set to defy convention, featuring 2-minute rounds and oversized gloves for the fighters. The intense debate surrounding the event has only fueled greater curiosity, and with no pay-per-view charges to consider, the duo is expected to attract a massive viewership. Back in 2020, when they headlined the same card against Nate Robinson and Roy Jones Jr., they reportedly generated over 1.8 million pay-per-view buys. Paul said, "I think that was like the 8th biggest ever. I think everyone would be happy with like 25 million. That would break the streaming record of the AFC game, the one before the Super Bowl, which was streamed on Peacock and got like 22 million live viewers. So if we beat that, everyone is going to be happy." Unsurprisingly, these figures raise doubts, with many arguing that Tyson's age should prevent him from returning to the ring. At 58 and set to face an opponent nearly 3 decades younger, there are plenty of questions about whether he is genuinely prepared for the upcoming bout. But Paul has hit back at the critics, saying, "I don't get it at all, but I also don't understand people in general. People are dumber than a box of rocks, and I don't expect them to understand fighting in general." Paul and Tyson's upcoming match was delayed after Tyson experienced a severe ulcer flare-up during his travels. Doctors advised him to halt his training and seek immediate treatment. However, Tyson is unwavering in his determination, vowing to be fully ready for the fight regardless of the circumstances. "I'm beautiful and I've been training," Tyson replied when asked by Bloody Elbow what his latest medical update was from doctors. He added, "I've been training for a while. 2 weeks or 3 weeks and I'm okay to fight. I'm in camp right now." However, Michael Bisping has fiercely criticized Jake Paul's upcoming bout with Mike Tyson, calling it an outright disgrace to boxing. He brands the fight a mockery and a farce, dismissing it as a shallow spectacle. Bisping accuses Paul of taking the easy road to fame, portraying him as a mere imposter. But the real question lingers. At 58 years old, does Tyson still have the ability to pull off an unlikely victory? Or is this matchup nothing more than a lucrative payday for the seasoned fighter? Bisping didn't mince words, offering a sharp critique of the fight and Jake Paul's role in it. While he acknowledged Tyson's former reign of terror in the ring, he was quick to point out that the man's almost 60. Bisping made it clear that Tyson stepping into the ring today is a far cry from the relentless powerhouse who once intimidated opponents. Bisping underscored that this Tyson is far from the fearsome fighter who once struck terror into his adversaries. Instead, he argued, "Jake, I hate to point out the obvious, that makes you look pathetic." Transitioning to the press conference, Bisping found Jake Paul's behavior especially troubling. Paul's comment to the booing crowd, "You're just like Mike Tyson, you were good 20 years ago," didn't sit well with Bisping. He saw it as Paul inadvertently admitting that the fight is lopsided. Bisping criticized Paul, saying, "You just admitted that you're going up against an old man who is a legend, of course, but he's not that guy anymore." Bisping didn't stop there. He went on to call Paul a disgrace to the combat world, adding, "You are a joke. You are a wannabe. You're a fake." For Bisping, this bout represents little more than a fat paycheck, a far cry from a genuine test of athleticism. At the heated press conference, Mike Tyson remained resolute, unshaken by questions regarding his age or previous accolades. He confidently declared, "I'm doing this because I can. Who else can do it but me?" highlighting his unique position in the clash. Joe Rogan recently shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight during a conversation with Russell Crowe, expressing concerns for Mike Tyson's health and offering a warning to Jake Paul about a crucial aspect of the match. Tyson, one of the most fearsome figures in boxing history, once dominated the ring with a blend of raw power and ferocity that left opponents petrified. In his prime, he was an unstoppable force, exuding an aura of invulnerability. However, time has changed the landscape, and now the 58-year-old Tyson is set to face an opponent more than 3 decades his junior.
I was quite enjoying the second phase of Mike's life. You know what I mean? You know, he was terrifying as a boxer.
Yeah.
Terrifying, you know. Even when I met him at one point back, you know, backstage at the stadium at a fight, and I was like, I'm still terrified of you from watching you, you know. But then that guy he started becoming, where he became more explorative and he was looking into what, you know, the meaning of life and, you know, having a smoke every now and then and stuff like that, you know. I was like, I'm enjoying this, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, I'm liking the evolution. You know, what bothers me with this whole thing is that he's got a kind of, slide back to that warrior.
Despite his intense training and preparation, there is growing speculation that Tyson could struggle against his younger opponent, a former social media star who once captivated the online world. Crow expressed hope for the well-being of both fighters, focusing on their safety and wishing for the match to remain injury-free. He emphasized the importance of seeing beyond the circus-like spectacle surrounding the event, hoping it would be recognized as a true contest, with both competitors showcasing their skills without harm. Rogan, never one to hold back, immediately voiced his thoughts on the issue. Although he conceded that the concept had its charm, he swiftly managed expectations, pointing out that it's probably not going to happen. The 57-year-old commentator stressed that both fighters will bring their full intensity when they step into the ring. Tyson appeared fully driven for the upcoming fight, which led Rogan to warn Paul that the result could go either direction. Jake Paul might discover that, at 58, Mike Tyson is still a formidable force in the ring, or he could come to understand that regardless of appearances, 58-year-olds are still, at their core, 58-year-olds.
What bothers me with this whole thing is that he's got to kind of, slide back to that warrior, and I'm just not sure he needed to do it.
The JRE host had repeatedly expressed skepticism about Tyson agreeing to the fight, highlighting the considerable age gap between the fighters as a key issue. During a conversation with Crow, he explored additional factors that might make Tyson's matchup with Paul even more challenging. At just 27, Jake Paul has already made waves in the boxing arena. Though his career is still in its formative stages, his remarkable speed and knockout power have earned him widespread recognition, including praise from Joe Rogan. In his most recent outing, Paul dominated Mike Perry, who had been on an unbeaten streak in his last 5 BKFC bouts, securing a commanding 6th-round victory. During the fight, Paul dropped Perry 3 times, cementing his triumph. Now, Rogan's biggest question is whether Tyson can withstand the pressure throughout the entire fight.
We're going to find out that 58-year-old men are 58-year-old men no matter what they look like.
Right.
And Jake Paul is a 28-year-old athlete in the prime of his life.
Yeah.
It was a real...
if you just do it to yourself, right?
In his discussion with Crow, the UFC commentator questioned whether Tyson, at his current age, could compete with a 28-year-old fighter in peak form, who is actively securing legitimate victories in the ring. In boxing, age is a significant factor, as the ability to withstand hard hits diminishes over time. For instance, Paul has demonstrated his prowess by knocking out multiple former UFC fighters, a topic explored in episode 2191 of the Joe Rogan Experience. Rogan has repeatedly lauded Paul for his victories over former UFC champions such as Tyrone Woodley. He also praised Paul's performance against Tommy Fury, a seasoned boxer, describing the bout as a fiercely competitive contest. Rogan emphasized that Paul is not just a celebrity fighter, but a legitimate athlete with true skill. Tyson, having declared his full recovery from a recent illness, wasted no time confronting his rival. Moments after the press conference, he stepped onto the stage, closing the gap between them until their faces nearly touched. With a sudden and forceful shove, the former undisputed heavyweight champion sent Paul stumbling back. Yet, despite the age difference, Tyson 30 years his senior, the YouTube star responded swiftly and without a second thought. Earlier, Tyson had insisted he would put an end to Paul's foray into boxing. We've got a YouTuber fighting the greatest fighter who ever lived. He may have been in the ring with people who have the same intentions, but in actuality, no. Paul has vowed to bring an explosive and brutal end to their battle, dubbing it a fight for the ages. He challenged those who had foreseen his downfall, daring them to imagine how they'd react if it were Mike Tyson who found himself on the mat. Though Paul acknowledged Tyson's chilling threats of retribution, he stressed that their former camaraderie had now given way to an intense rivalry. With respect cast aside, Paul promised to land a decisive knockout, setting the stage for a showdown where only one fighter would remain victorious.
They'll never give me credit. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. If I was walking on water, they would say it's because I couldn't swim. And this is to make history. People think I'm going to get knocked out by this strong, powerful guy. All the people in my comments saying, look at his power, he's going to get KO'd. People are yelling at me in the event. But what happens when I put this man to sleep? This is not a joke. He's saying that it's going to be my funeral. He's saying it's going to be my wake. He's going to kill Jake Paul, all of these things. And that's why I love Mike, I respect him, but we're not friends anymore. Until November 15th, I'm knocking this mother out, and we're going to see who's dead. We will see who's dead.
Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.